Okay, so we start our class by paying homage to the Buddha. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Good morning and good evening, everyone. Now let's come to finish our teaching of the Paṭiccasamuppāda. I hope we can finish it today because we still have many other important suttas and teachings to study, especially next week. 15th full moon of Asad, the month or Asalah, will be the Asalah Puja, just one day before the monks entering Vasa, a retreat. So we will study the first sermon of the Buddha again, because to kind of pay respect and also remembrance of the Buddha's teaching, the first sermon of the Buddha that he expounded on that full moon day of Asalah. So yes, next week we will touch on the first sermon, the Paṭiccasamuppāda Sutta, but will be delivered by another professor, not myself. Let me share screen. Can you see my screen, everyone? See the screen share?
Yes.
Okay. Oh. Okay, so we just come across the book a little bit. We can read the book a little bit, kind of review our lesson we learned from previous weeks. I hope you all understand better and better. Like last week, we have the lecture from Venerable Sanatha. So he emphasized more on the theory of the three common characteristics or the three universal marks of existence that is much related in this theory of Paṭiccasamuppāda also, because the whole process of this teaching, it's just the process of the Dhamma. It's just the working process of the phenomena, the arising nature and the passing nature, which means nobody does that. No man, no woman, no being in that very concept. It's just the working process of the nama and rupa, right? Physical and mental phenomena that we consider as a being, as we, as I, something like that. So in the book that we have been studying, the law of Paṭiccasamuppāda, the section 1 is discuss about the theory, just a basic theory of Paṭiccasamuppāda, the will of the Saṃsāra, as we understand it easily from the diagram itself. It's just the wheel of the Saṃsāra, which means the wheel of cycle of life and birth, right? Countless of life and birth, because we have been born and died again and again in this Saṃsāra, right? In this universe. That's why it is called as the cycle of life, because we born and then we die. After dying, we born again. If we have not removed the root of rebirth, then for sure we have to be born again and again. And being born is indeed suffering, because we have to experience all kinds of unsatisfactoriness, unpleasant things, facing a lot of obstacles and troubles. Nobody can avoid that, right? All of us, regardless of whatsoever, Cambodian, American, rich or poor, monk or lay, we all have to experience all the problem in this Saṃsāra. So when we study about this theory, we not only realize how suffering life is and how much obstacles that we have to go through in order to achieve our goal, but we also know that the techniques, means and ways out of this problem. If we can get away from the wheel of Saṃsāra, that means we find liberation, right? We are free from all kinds of suffering. So to break the wheel of Saṃsāra means to put an end to suffering. But how are we to do so? This is why we study this theory, because we want to find the way for ourselves, right? The way to liberation, the way to free ourselves from this Saṃsāra, right? From cycle of life and death. Like the Buddha himself, he already passed, right? He already passed this stage. That means he found the way to liberation, complete liberation, nirvana, nibbana, complete liberation from all kinds of suffering. So after he found that, he showed us the way. He expounds the way to liberation based on his experience. That's why we have the Dhamma, like a life lesson experience that he shared with all of us. We call it as Dhamma, right? Dhamma. So this is the Dhamma that we need to learn and practice, not only learning, because learning alone doesn't make sense unless we put it into practice on our daily basis. Then we can find the true essence of the Dhamma, right? Because when we practice the Dhamma, we will gain more wisdom. We will find the ways to liberation. Only wisdom is the real foundation to liberation. Without wisdom, we cannot find the way to it. So studying the Dhamma right now is a way of accumulating wisdom, right? We gain wisdom through studying, through listening, through questioning, and through practicing. So again, studying Paṭiccasamuppāda, the theory of depending arising, we know that there is no beings who do all these actions, right? The whole realities of the wheel of Saṃsāra is just the working process of the Dhamma, which means avijja, sankhara, sankhara paccaya, viññānaṃ, namarupang, salayatana, etc. All are just a series of the phenomena, the Dhamma itself, that it arises and passes, happens and then passes, happens and then passes. So we see that there is no I, there is no we, there is no being, right? You see the avijja. Is it I? Ignorant. Is this a person? No. It's in fact type of kilesa, right? Type of defilement that one has to experience in one existence. So let me go to the book a little bit. In the theory of Paṭiccasamuppāda, we have 12 links, right? I hope all of you have tried to figure it out with this chart. I hope you can find out all the listing factors in here by trying to look into this diagram, because every word, every term here is used in this diagram, so that we can easily contemplate on it and easily understand the meaning of the whole theory. It's just like a short overview. So later we come to this. Okay, so the first 12 links is very necessary for all of us to go forward. We should start from here, that dependent on avijja, there arises saṃsāra. Okay, maybe some of you are not familiar with the Pali term or English term, but please try to remember that. If you're not yet, please try to remember that, because this is a very important formula for us to understand further. Depend on avijja arises saṃsāra. Depend on saṃsāra arises vijñāna. So let me show this one. It's better. Right, so we start in the direct order we call anuloma, because in the theory of Paṭiccasamuppāda, the Buddha expounded in two ways, in two meanings, that is anuloma, direct order, and padiloma, reverse order. Okay, so in direct order, we see that from avijja, conditions to the next, that is saṃsāra, formations or mental formations. From saṃsāra to vijñāna, vijñāna to namarupa, namarupa to salayatana, salayatana phassa, vedana, tanha, upadana, bhava, jati, and jara marana. Altogether are 12 factors. Okay, this is very important to remember the technical terms, either in Pali or in English. Again, let me do that in English. From ignorance, conditions or gives rise to mental formation, right? Volitional activities, or in short, kamma, right? From ignorance give rise to kamma formations. From kamma formations give rise to consciousness, right? To consciousness. From consciousness gives rise to mentality and materiality, or mind and matter. From mind and matter gives rise to sixfold sense basis, sixfold sense base, or six senses. From six senses gives rise to contact. From contact gives rise to craving. From craving gives rise to clinging. From clinging gives rise to existence. From existence gives rise to birth. From birth gives rise to old age, sickness, and death. Round and round, you see. After we get old, sick, and then die, again we born again because of avijja, ignorance. It comes again to the next and next factors. So just a brief explanation, because we don't have like a lot of time to study this whole theory, let all of you explore or do research more by yourself. This teaching is very, very subtle, very deep, and also very detailed, that you must study Abhidhamma and do more research by yourself to understand the complete theory in detail. So for our class here, we just try to bring the overview of different teachings so that you have more idea of what to do research, and also to seek more for your deep understanding. Let me just give a brief explanation as avijja in this meaning. The ignorance in terms of the 8 things, okay? Ignorance, which means we don't know about the 8 things. Where, for example, we don't know the 4 noble truths. We don't understand the theory of the 4 noble truths, that there is, if there is life, there is suffering, and then when there is suffering, there is a cause of suffering, and then there is cessation of suffering and the way leading to the cessation of suffering. For example, that is one of the factor in ignorance, because we don't know about the nature of our very existence. That is why we are ignorant. That is why we are deluded. Our mind is shrouded by darkness. We don't see realities the way they are. You know, this is how the Dhamma work its own way to give rise, to give result. That's why we are born again and again, because of our own ignorance, right? And then the next, because we don't know the nature of our existence, like we are made of the nama rupa. We are ourselves that we call as earth, as we, as I, as you. It's nothing, but it's just the constitution of the mind and matter, right? A combination of mentality and materiality, or 5 khandhas, right? The 5 aggregate, materiality, sensation, perception, mental formation, and so on. Because we don't know such thing, that is why here avijja, it is said ignorance, that is the root of Saṃsāra, the root of the wheel of Saṃsāra, right? Like in this diagram, you see avijja. Avijja is one of the roots of the wheel of Saṃsāra that keeps or pushes the wheel to move round and round endlessly, because of avijja, right? And then, okay, just in short, and then sankhara. Sankhara here in 3 ways refers to the 3 ways of karma formations that one has done. Sometimes we translate it as volitional activities. So volitional activities mean out of volition, we create karma, right? Out of volition, it is formed as a deed, right? Without a volition or intention, it cannot constitute as a karma. Let's say when we talk about good deed or bad deed, right? Good deed or bad deed comes from our own intention or volition, cetana. If there is no cetana, there is no karma, right? When you kill a mosquito, knowingly, consciously, you know that you're going to kill mosquito. Out of volition, out of intention, you kill the mosquito. And then it constituted to a bad karma, right? You commit a sin, you commit bad action. This is called also sankhara. It is a akusala cetana, right? In the 12 akusala citta in the Abhidhamma. When you study Abhidhamma, you will understand it easily. So I just briefly explain that sankhara here refers to the bad karma, bad action, and good action. And then another one is, okay, let me count in Pali, the punyapi sankhara, apunyapi sankhara, and ninjapi sankhara. So the good karma and bad karma and then another one is the karma that is done in the stage of in the stage of immaterial sphere. Okay, នៅក្នុងគេហៅថារូបៈហើយនឹងអរូបៈណា It's kind of a little bit deep for all of you if you have no foundation about that, so I won't go much deep, just a bit information for you to understand that why the round of samsara keeps moving forward like this, because all of these factors that condition one another to arise, right, without an end. If we don't put an end to the root, then it just keep rotating. That's why it is important to understand all the root and factors and links connection of this diagram, so we will find a way to break the will. When we can uproot or remove the root, then the will break, right? The root will break out. Then we can stop the wheel of samsara. Okay, then vijnana. Vijnana here can also refer to the resultant consciousness, which means the rebirth in consciousness, and also refer to the 6 kinds of vijnana that it bases on the 6 senses, right? That's why we see here, depend on the consciousness. Normally, we understand that vijnana, its function is to cognize things, is to be aware of the things. Because without vijnana, without consciousness, we don't know anything in the world, right? We know things in the world, we know what is happening simply because we have vijnana, consciousness, right? That's why from consciousness, it gives rise to nama rupa, the mind and matter, right? The mind and matter. So mind and matter is what made up as a being that we consume. We conventionally take the idea of being as I, as you, out of this mindset, right? The ultimate sense is that what is here is only mind and matter, right? In the ultimate sense, paramatta satya. It's only a combination of mind and body, okay? Mind and body. Matter means body, okay? Only mind and body. But we take this concept as beings, as man, woman, as monk or lay person, etc. So from mind and matter, it gives rise to the 6 senses. When we have this body, this mind, then we have also, it comes along, the 6 senses. The 6 senses through what? Eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind. Okay, these are the 6 senses in which we know things, through these 6 doors. The 6 senses receive all data, all information through the 6 sense doors, right? 6 senses. Also, again, the same similar thing, 6 sense doors. Sometimes we translate as 6 sense media, right? A media means it gives in and out information. It's where the information come in and out, like a door where we go in and out. So in the same way, salayatana here means the 6 sense basis or the 6 sense doors that it brings in and out all kinds of information. Because we have mind and matter, then it comes along the eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind. Through eye, we see the form, we see the sight. That is why it's called seeing consciousness. Without eye base, right? Without eye base, without eye door, we cannot see things. Why we can see things? Because we have a good eye base, and then we have the eye sensitivity. We call jakku, right? We have jakku, and then there is a rupa, there is a form come into contact with the eye base, and then with the intention to see it, to look at it, it gives rise to eye consciousness, which means seeing. So seeing arises based on different conditions. But here, just make it short. Through eye, we see the form. Through ear, we hear the sound. Through nose, we can smell. We can smell the odor. Through tongue, we can taste the taste. And then through body, we can sense the touch or the tangible object. And through mind, we know things, right? These are the six sense basis or six sense media. Okay. And then from this six sense basis, it gives rise to contact, phassa. So contact here means both physical contact and mental contact. Because from these six senses, seeing, hearing, tasting, smelling, touching, and thinking, all give rise to contact. So when things come into contact, it will produce something, right? It will produce something. That's something that resulted from the six sense basis. It gives rise to feeling. It gives rise to feeling or sensation. Okay, as you can see here. Let me zoom bigger. Okay, because you have basically the six senses, like through eye, the form come into contact, and then eye consciousness arises. You call it as a seeing consciousness. So where consciousness come from? It comes from the six senses. Through seeing, through hearing, touching, smelling, tasting, all of these are contact, right? And through the contact of things, one thing come into contact with another thing, and then it gives rise to feeling, right? With the touch, there is a feeling arises. Okay, put it in a simple word. With the touch of two things, it gives rise to feeling. It doesn't matter if it is a physical touch, physical contact, or the mental contact. If there is a contact, there will be a feeling, right? And then feeling again. Feeling again, it has a few different types. Good feeling, right? You call it as a pleasant, and then unpleasant feeling, a bad feeling, unpleasant feeling, and then you have neither pleasant nor unpleasant, you know. And then you have happy feeling or pain and pleasure. In detail, we talk of 5 kinds of feeling or 6 types of feeling, but in short, just 3. Okay, the pleasant, unpleasant, neither pleasant nor unpleasant. So here, the feeling, you can see that it is the result of the conditioning dharma. What is conditioning to feeling? It is because of phassa, because of contact. With contact, it conditions feeling to arise. Okay, with contact, it conditions feeling to arise. Right? When you see something, so the eye come in, the form come into contact with the eye, and then there arise the seeing. When seeing arises, because of all the conditions that it touches together, there's a feeling, but we don't know what kind of feeling that arises. Depends on individual. So when feeling arises, it will again gives rise to craving, tanha. See, dependent on feeling, craving arises. Right? Depend on feeling, craving arises. So what is the craving? So craving here, as you may have already known, the tanha of bhava tanha, kama tanha, bhava tanha, and vibhava tanha, right? It's kind of the craving or the thirst for sensual pleasures, the sensual pleasures out of 6 senses, right? We want a pleasant feeling through seeing, through hearing, through smelling, through tasting, through touching, and through thinking, right? So it is also called as a craving, as tanha. So tanha arises from nowhere, but from our own 6 senses, right? Through the 6 senses, it condition contact. Through the contact, it condition feeling, and through the feeling, it gives rise to craving. Craving is the meaning of wanting or thirst. We are thirst of something, right? When you say, oh, you're so thirsty, you want water, right? So your mind is wanted, right? You're wanting something. You wanting something. You are desire for something that you want to achieve it. And when you want it, when you desire for it, you don't want to stop it because you want to taste the experience of things you want, in terms of the way you see, the way you hear, smell, touch, thinking, all these kinds of 6 senses. These are the process of what? The process of the Dhamma, right? The process of the Dhamma, not the process of being that does that, you know, because we already have this physical body and the mind and the 6 senses. We receive all kinds of information in the world. So this just automatically working. That is why Dhamma plays very important role in between, because it trains us how to develop the mind, how to calm it down, you know, from wanting this and that. So the Dhamma is a discipline, it's a guideline for us to train ourselves to be calm, to stay positive, to do good, and not to allow our mind according to tanha, according to craving. Okay, so this is very important. We have to understand each process, how it works, how it keeps conditioning one another. If you can break one, and then the other one also will cease, will passes, right? Will pass, will end. For example, if you can work with your feeling, if you can manage your feeling under your control, and then it will not give rise to tanha, to craving. Okay, but again, moving forward from craving, it gives rise to clinging. From craving give rise to clinging. When you desire for something, then you want it. The desire does not go down, right? Does not go down. It just keeps getting stronger and stronger as you want something. You want to achieve something. The desire is never end, right? That's why we call endless desire. Yeah, tanha. It just goes up and up, you know, hotter and hotter. So that's why it leads to clinging, that we hold on very firmly with the very idea of wanting, of this and that, you know. From craving, it develops, becomes a clinging. When it becomes clinging, it's like you mark on the stone, right? It's not easily removed. If you mark something on water, it's automatically washed away. If you mark something on the beach or on the sand, when the water comes, it can blow away. But if you mark something on the stone, it will last long, 1,000 years, something like that. So clinging is like that. And clinging because of the tanha, right? Tanha, again, also with the titi, with the wrong view, that you hold on to that very idea. So from clinging, it gives rise to existence. That's how we come into existence, bhava, because we have all of this as a constituting factor, conditioning factor, right? From clinging, it gives rise to bhava, to existence, becoming, okay? And then from becoming, it gives rise to birth, okay? We born again, right? Out of this existence, we come into life, birth. And when there is birth, there is old age, there is sickness, there is a lot of problems, and finally death, okay? The Buddha said because of birth, that he has to be wandering round and round again and again in the cycle of life. You still remember in his first utterance, Paṭiccasamuppāda, through innumerable births, countless existences, that the Tathagata have to be born again and again in this Saṃsāra, simply because he does not know who is the builder of this existence, of this house. That's why we keep coming to rebirth and die again and again. But now I have found you. You are sin, the householder. You can build no more house for me again, right? This is the word when his first utterance after he gained enlightenment. He feels surprised that, oh, I see now why I was born again and again. I see the root of rebirth, something like that. So that's why he can put an end to this cycle of life, because he know who makes him born, right? Then he just remove the root, then he come to complete liberation, nibbana, no more rebirth. When there is no more birth, no more suffering. Why? Because birth means the cycle of suffering. No more birth, no more suffering. Okay, this is the idea. If you don't want to experience suffering, don't get yourself to rebirth. Okay, don't be born again if you want to get rid of all kinds of suffering. Okay, because more birth, more suffering again and again. This is like a child playing games, right? Yeah, sick and high, something like that. So these are the 12 factors according to the direct order. And on the other hand, with the reverse order, previous week, I explained you that just an analogy that from the Anulomanai direct order, it's like go from here, right? Go from here from avijja, and then it gives rise to all the next conditions, all 12 factors. But in another reverse order, it's like coming from left, but just analogy, just a comparison. So the reverse order, which means if you can put an end to avijja, right? If you can remove ignorance, and then the next condition will cease, will automatically passes, right? Will automatically vanish. No more conditioning, because you break avijja, then it will not lead to sankhara, which means avijja ceases, sankhara also ceases. Ceases means vanish. When avijja or ignorance ceases, sankhara also ceases. When sankhara ceases, vijnana also ceases. Like that, on and on and on. You know, this is the same way, similarly with the direct order. Direct order, just avijja give rise to sankhara, sankhara give rise to vijnana. But in reverse order, when avijja ceases, sankhara also ceases. Sankhara ceases, vijnana also ceases. So you will see, when vijnana ceases, nama rupa ceases until the end, all the 12 factors. When when feeling ceases, tanha craving also ceases. When tanha ceases, upadana ceases. Bhava ceases, jati ceases. When jati ceases, jara marana also ceases, right? In a simple idea, when there is no avijja, no sankhara, right? When no sankhara, no vijnana, then there will be no namarupa. When there is no namarupa, there is no salayatana. When there is no salayatana, there is no phasa. No phasa, there is no vedana. When there is no vedana, there is no danha. When there is no danha, no padana, no bhava, no jati, no jara marana. This is the whole idea. Okay. Now I hope you get some basic understanding of what it is. So let's goes back to the chart here that I told in the group. I dropped the message in Telegram for all of you to find out all these factors in the right side diagram. Okay. So here, that's what I've been talking about. Paṭiccasamuppāda anuloma. Anuloma means in Pali, avijja paccaya sankhara, sankhara paccaya vijnana, vijnana paccaya namarupang, namarupa paccaya salayatanang, and so on. And then padiloma, reverse order, avijja yataveva asesa viraga nirodha sankhara nirodho, sankhara nirodha vijnana nirodho, something like that. Avijja ceases, sankhara also ceases, something like that. So let us move further, because today I want to finish this whole idea. Okay, in this diagram, there are two roots. Okay, there are two roots. There is avijja and tanha. There are two noble truths, samudaya satya, the cause of arising, the arising of suffering, and dukkha satya, the noble truth of suffering. And then they're divided into four divisions. Four division, which means past cause, present result, something like that. We will find here. Four, there are 12 factors. We already study avijja paccaya from ignorance until jara marana. Okay. And then 5, there are 3 connections. That is, okay, 3 connections in here. We will look into it. And then there are 3 rounds. 3 rounds, which means they have the round of defilement, the round of karma, and the round of vipaka. Okay. Again, the process of becoming. Okay. 3 periods of time. So we already know the past, present, and future. And then finally, there are 20 modes. Okay, there are 20 modes we will find here. Okay, now let's go to the first one. There are 2 roots in this wheel of Saṃsāra. So when we talk about root or mula, you understand that the root is very important, right? Like the root of a tree. Without a root, the tree cannot grow. Okay, the tree will die without root. In the same way, there are 2 roots in this Saṃsāra chat. Okay, the wheel of Saṃsāra vada. That is avijja and tanha. Okay, you can see in the middle here, avijja and tanha consider as the roots of Saṃsāra, which means these two guys are the big boss. Okay, these 2 guys are the big bosses of our existence, of the wheel of Saṃsāra. These 2 guys are the cause of our suffering, the cause of suffering, not our. These 2 guys are the causes of suffering, because the wheel of Saṃsāra means the wheel of life and death. When there is life and death, there is suffering. Again, we can say in short that this is the cycle of suffering. So here we see that these two guys are the big boss behind all kinds of suffering. If we can remove them, we will find a complete liberation from all kinds of suffering. Okay. So you have to remove ignorance and tanha. For example, how are we to remove them? By developing wisdom, we will automatically remove avijja, right? Just like avijja is compared to a darkness, where wisdom compared to lightness, right? Suppose there is a room with darkness at night time. So when you enter the room at night time, it will be very dark that you cannot see anything. So this is because of ignorance, just a comparison, okay? But as soon as you switch on the light, then when the light comes, the darkness automatically disappears. You know, this is an analogy of avijja and panya, okay? Ignorance and wisdom. So we have to develop wisdom through learning, through listening, through practicing the Dharma, meditation, and so on. That way we can accumulate more wisdom, and so avijja, ignorance, decreases down and down. And again, like tanha, we know that the cause of tanha is from the feeling, right? When there is feeling, there is tanha, right? So you understand the way to put an end to it. When there is when there is a feeling, the feeling condition tanha, right? This condition craving. So if you want to put an end to tanha, you must remove this one. You must remove the feeling. But how are you to remove the feeling? Because we live in the world and we experience all kinds of feeling, sadness, happiness, sorrow, pleasant, and feeling unpleasant, something like that. By removing means you'll have to learn the way to control your mind, to control your feeling, the way you behave, the way you act, the way you feel. You have to learn to do it professionally, right? According to the Dharma. So you know how to put an end to these two guys, big bosses, okay? Avijja and tanha. Okay, next. The two noble truths. Actually, we have 4 noble truths, but here in the diagram, we can only see 2. Why? The question is why? Actually, there are 4, but because of avijja, because of ignorance, it shrouds, it clouds or blocked the other 2 sajja from arising, right? The other 2 sajja is nirodha and magga. When there is avijja, there is no cessation of suffering, because avijja is the first cause that gives rise to suffering, gives rise to cycle of suffering. So that's why in the 4 noble truths, we can only see 2 kinds of truths, that is specifically the dukkha sajja, because the round of suffering is dukkha, is the noble truth of suffering. And then the samudaya sajja, you see here, the samudaya sajja. This is the truth of the cause of suffering. Okay, next, 4 division. Okay, 4 division, you can already see that number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. So 4 division here, it divides from past cause. You see here is a past cause, okay. This is a 1 division, like a 1 phase, like 1 phase of the 4. And then the second phase, the 3rd phase, and the 4th phase. So the first division here, it divides between the 5 causal, okay, 5 causal continuum. 5 past causal continuum. And then we have the 5 present resultant continuum. And then we have 5 present causal continuum. And the last one is the 5 future resultant continuum. So they are related, they are connected each other, interconnected. How? You will see the 5 the 5 past causal continuum. There are avijja, sankhara, tanha, upadana, and bhava. These are the 5 past cause. Okay, 5 past cause of our very now existence. There are these 5 past causes that continue to condition the present, right? The present. So these are the past cause: avijja, sankhara, tanha, upadana, and bhava. And then, okay, let me reverse it, reverse the diagram so you can easily understand it. Okay, how do I reverse it? Where's the reverse? Because I share the screen, so maybe block my view. Okay. Okay. Just now, there are 5 past cause. Okay, 5 past cause continuum, which means these 5 are the past cause. Okay, the past cause, it gives rise, it continues to give rise to the present resultant continuum. Also 5. Okay, why it is called present resultant continuum? Because they are the result of the past cause. Okay, this is in the present period, in the present time, we got the result from the 5 past cause. Again, these 5 present resultant continuum give rise to the 5 present causal continuum. Okay, what are the 5 here? We have viññāna, right? Namarupa, salayatana, phassa, and vedana. So you know what are they in English. I don't need to say that again and again. So these 5 present resultant continuum give rise to 5 present causal continuum. So these are also the 5, also the present cause, but it continue, right? It continue forward. So we have tanha, upadana, bhava, avijja, and sankhara. Again, let me reverse it. Okay, and then from the 5 past, okay, one more. Again, from the 5 present causal continuum, it gives rise to 5 future resultant continuum. Future result, okay? In short, future result. In 5 future result, we have viññāna, namarupa, salayatana, phassa, and vedana. Okay, why they keep using the word continuum like this? Because it is a continuous series of conditioning. Okay, everything is continue. It just keeps moving, motion like the wheel, right? The wheel of the Saṃsāra, the wheel of the car. It just keep moving. That's why it's called continuum. Okay, so here again, let me bring back to the original. Okay, the original one start from avijja, so we can easily understand the diagram. Okay, don't make yourself confused with the diagram. You know where's the start. This avijja is the start. Okay, so you see there are 5 cause, 5 past cause, there are 5 present result, there are 5 present cause, there are 5 future result. Again, we can understand this concept as there is a past cause, and from past cause, it gives rise to the present result. Again, the present result, the result becomes the cause again. Okay, the result here becomes the cause again. So the cause, it gives result in the future. You see, this is a connection. This is a conditioning factor, conditioning series of things continuously arises and passes, which means one thing arises, then it passes itself, but it conditioning something else to arise. So we see that the conditioning thing, it's not the same, right? The previous one already arises and then it passes. This is the nature of all things in this universe. Where there is arising, there is passing, right? Anicca, vata, sankhara. Where there is the nature of arising, there is the nature of passing very quickly, that we cannot understand it with our shallow idea, shallow mind. But we understand that ultimately, according to the teaching of the Buddha, something arises, soon it passes. It just stays for a time or some time of the moment, but some of the nature, it just arises and passes immediately, that we cannot see the gap between the existing moment, right? There is a rising moment, existing moment, and the ceasing moment. But in short, when the existing moment is very short, it's too short, we cannot see the gap. So that's why the moment in Buddhism, we also divide into two ways, as arising and passing. Okay, sometimes we don't count the existing moment. We have Upada, Thiti, and Bhanga, right? Upada means arising, and Thiti is the existing moment, and the Bhanga is the passing. But when things are happening so fast, we cannot see the existing time. That's why we can only see rising and passing, rising and passing. This becomes the method of contemplating according to Vipassana meditation. So we take Kaya and Vaya as a contemplative form, as rising, passing, like born, die, something like that we see. We don't see the living, we just say born and die, born and die. This is a cycle of life and death. So from past cause give rise to present result. From present result, it becomes the cause of the future result. Okay, again, the future result, it will become the past, right? Because it keeps moving, rotating like that. That's why we cannot see where's the start, where's the beginning of this samsara, because it is moving around and round, moving round and round. Okay, but through studying this theory of Paṭicca, now we kind of clear the cloud, you know, we can see better with the teaching of the Buddha. We can see that, oh, this is avijja, this is tanha, and we are clouded, we are blinded by these guys, these bosses, from seeing the truth, seeing the nature of life. Okay, again, this 5, 5, 5, 5, make it 20. Okay, 5 by 4 makes it 20. So what are the 20? It's called the mode, right? Here, the last number 8, we see the 20 modes. Okay, just now we talk about the 4 division, right? The 4 division, from the past cause to the present result, from the present cause to the future result. Okay, these are the 4 phases. Again, all the each of the 5 factors in each phase, in each division, makes up 20. So this 20 we call as a 20 modes. We can look at right now. Okay, 20 mode. You see 5 modes. Cause of the past. Cause of the past, we see ignorance, like avijja, sankhara, karmic formation, right? Okay, so the 5 past causes are ignorance, karmic formation, craving, grasping, and becoming. And the 5 modes, next one, present resultant. We have consciousness, mind and matter, 6 sense bases, contact, and sensation. And then we have the present cause, craving, grasping, becoming, ignorance, karmic formation. These are the present cause. We are developing, we are generating it day and night, right? Every moment of our daily basis, daily lifestyle, we making craving, we accumulating, grasping, becoming, producing ignorance and karma formation. You see, this is all the production of our own mind that is not trained, that is not well developed. So we generate all kinds of negativity, all kinds of defilements. This is the present cause. So the present cause will lead to the future result. What are the future results out of this cause? Consciousness arises, mind and matter come into being, six sense bases come again, contact, sensation. You see, and then from sensation or feeling gives rise to tanha again, like this round and round. The cycle of samsara never ends. Okay, now you understand the 4 divisions and the 20 modes. Now we come to 12 factors. Okay. Maybe a little bit too difficult for some of you. Okay, if you have question, you can interrupt me. I mean, because in terms of the diagram we're learning, it's a little bit complicated to look into it. So if you feel confused at some point, just stop me, interrupt me and ask, okay? Then we have the 12 factors. So 12 factors is easy. We already identify it, right? The 12 factor from ignorance, sankhara, avijja, from avijja here. Just point out for you. From avijja, sankhara, vijnana, okay? Vijnana, nama, rupa, salayatana, phassa, vedana, tanha, upadana, bhava, jati, jara, marana. These are the 12 factors, okay? You look into this circle, okay? Look into this circle. If I don't need to draw it. You see the circle already. In this circle, okay, you see the 12 links, 12 factors, okay? Yeah, like we already learned from here. These are the 12 factor, okay? Avijja, sankhara, vijnana, nama, rupa. Yeah. Okay, next one. There are 3 connections. Santi connection. So 3 connection here, you can easily see the link. They use the word here to refer to connection as a link. This is the link 1, okay? Link 1, and here is a link 2. The last link here, okay? The third link. Okay, so what links to what at the first one? Okay, the first link, we see the links, the link between sankhara and vijnana, okay? The link, the connection between sankhara and vijnana. The second link, you see the connection between vedana and tanha. Vedana and tanha. The third link, you see the connection between sankhara and vijnana. Sankhara and vijnana. Okay, why we have to identify the links? You know, without the links, it's not a complete will, right? It's not a complete jhaka. If the links are broken, okay, suppose you break this link and then you lose part of the link, right? You lose part of the will, then it cannot move. And again, if you break this link, the link between vedana and tanha, again, the will is not complete, so it cannot move. If something is broken, some part is broken, right? Again, if you break this link, if this link is broken, for sure it cannot move. But what can we really break? Are these links breakable? This is the question we have to ask. Are these 3 links breakable? Can we break them? So we have to see what are the links, sankhara and vijnana. Sankhara means the karma formation that one has already done, and then it gives rise to rebirth consciousness, right? Paṭiccasamuppāda vijnana. We cannot break this link because it's already becoming, right? It's already arising. So we cannot see, we cannot break this link. Here, again, this link between the sankhara, karma formation, and vijnana. Oh, sorry. I confused about this one. This circle, this link between the bhava and jati, right? Yeah, excuse me, not this link. The link here is in this circle. I confuse myself. Okay, between the bhava and jati. So again, we cannot break between the becoming and the birth, right? We cannot break this link. It is impossible to do so. It doesn't make sense, right? But only through this link, you can see very clearly that it is possible. Because why? We cannot change the past, right? We cannot change the past because the connection here, the link here is between the past cause and the present result. So what is past has already gone. You cannot change it. You cannot break it. And what is the result in the present is already from our own previous karma. We cannot change it too. That's why we have to experience it in this lifetime, because we done something. So we get that in this lifetime. So we cannot change it. You cannot change the past cause, nor the present result. And you cannot change the future result too, right? Because future has not come yet. That's why you cannot break this link, because it's between the present cause and the future result. You cannot do it. But this is very important. You can only break this link because it links between the present result and the present cause, right? So both are present, both are in the present time. You may remember the old saying, past is history, right? The past is history, the future is mystery, and the present is gift. That is why it's called present, right? The present is gift. Because with the present, you can change, you can do anything. You want to do, you can do what you want. If you want something in the future, you can start doing now in the present. If you want to be good, start doing good right now. So you will get a good future, right? You cannot change the past, but you can change the way you do in the present, because it will give rise to the future. What you do right now in the present really matters for the coming future. So here, the same concept. You can break the link here, remove the link, the connection here. If you break the link, you will break some part of the will that it cannot move on. So the will of Saṃsāra will end, will not move on. So you find complete liberation from cycle of suffering. You find the escape from complete suffering, okay, from the liberation from cycle of suffering. So you see here, between the present and the present, okay, that's where we are here right now. We are now in the present moment. So we can break the present link that is between the Vedana and Tanha. Between the Vedana and Tanha. Why is it so important we should break this link? Because Vedana, feeling. Do you feel something right now? Yes, you feel many things. You feel good, you feel bad, you feel pleasant, unpleasant, you feel neutral, neither pleasant nor unpleasant. So through this feeling, it gives rise to craving, to thirst, to desire, okay? Through feeling, it gives rise to desire. When you feel pleasant, you will want something as a pleasant feeling. If something is not pleasant for you, you feel what? You feel agitated, you feel angry, right? Because things doesn't go the way you want it. That's why unpleasant feeling comes, domanassa, right? Dukkha. But when you feel something good, you just want it. That's why it leads to desire, it leads to craving, okay? So be careful between this gap, okay? Be careful between this link. If you can manage your mind, control your feeling, that means you will guard tanha from arising, okay? You will guard tanha from arising. By saying so, it really takes a lot of time and practice for everyone. If you practice according to this diagram, according to the theory of Paṭiccasamuppāda, you can easily understand the techniques, the way out of suffering, right? This is the way out of suffering. It's like a shortcut, but actually it's not shortcut because everything takes practice, and practice takes a lot of time. Can be life after life, can be countless existences, like the Buddha, before he come to complete liberation from this will of suffering. He has to go through many countless innumerable existences, right? Simply because of a avijja and tanha that blind the mind from seeing the truth. So seeing the truth, we find a way, right? We find a way to liberation, but without seeing the truth, we cannot find a way to liberation. This is just very easy to identify, right? Very easily to understand. But when it comes to practice, it's really difficult. How you can control your feeling, it's not easy. Even when you talk about anger, how do I control my anger? I'm angry every day. I'm jealous. I'm envious. I'm so agitated. I'm so displeasant. My feeling is not good. Narrow-minded, jealousy, hatred. You know, all kinds of bad things happening in your mind. That means you react to your feeling, right? You don't know how to control your feeling. That's why it gives rise to tanha, and then tanha gives rise to upadana. If you cannot control this, it will just keep moving round and round like that. So the important thing here is you have to find a way to manage your feeling. That is why in the 4 foundation of mindfulness, which we will study next month, we will study this method. How can we develop, control our vedana or feeling in order to put an end to tanha? Okay, we will study with the meditation master. Okay, next month we will study the Satipatthana Sutta, the 4 foundations of mindfulness. Then we have the one of the 4 foundations or the 4 techniques of establishing mindfulness is the Vedana Nupassana Satipatthana, right? The contemplation on the feeling. How you can contemplate on the feeling, how you can put the feeling under your control, you know. So that will be taught in Satipatthana Sutta. Yeah, I already invited Venerable from Sri Lanka. He also graduated from Harvard University, USA. He will give overview of this sutta. Okay, so it's almost time. Okay, moving forward, we have okay, already 3 connection. Okay, we already studied the 3 connection, and then we have the 3 rounds, right? 3 circle. That is the round of kilesa, and then we have the round of kamma, right? Kilesa vada, kamma vada, and vipaka vada. So we have 3 rounds. Round 1 is kilesa vada. Here the in Pali term, kilesa vada means the round of defilements. And then we have the kamma vada. Kamma vada here, the round of kammic formation, right? The round of kamma. And then finally we have the round of vipaka. Vipaka vada. Vipaka vada, the round of results, resultant. Then you see the number, 3 kinds of kilesa vada. We have 3 kinds of 3 rounds of defilements. The round 1 is 3 kinds of defilement. So in this phase, what do you think are the kilesa? Anyone know? Can you point out what are the defilement in here? What are the kilesa between these 5? So you see avijja, okay? Avijja is a kilesa, right? Avijja. And then we have in Paramatta Satya, it's a moha, right? Angtwa mandal moha, avijja. So it's a kilesa. And then we have tanha. Yeah, tanha, angtwa mandal lobha is a lobha, right? So it is a kilesa. And again, upadana. Upadana is tithi and tanha. Yeah? So these 3 are the kilesa vada: avijja, tanha, and upadana. Okay. Yeah, so you can also read from here. You can also read from here. The 3 round: ignorance, craving, and grasping. Okay, but when you remember all the things, you don't need to read this, because the whole idea just, you know, comes from the diagram itself. And then we have 2 kamma vada. So what are the 2 kamma vada? You see the sankara as a kamma, and then the bhava, right? Existence or becoming. Sankara, karmic formation, and the becoming are the 2 kamma vada, the round of action, the round of kamma formations. Last one, 8 vipaka vada. So the round of resultant has 8 factors. So we can see they're all the results, right? Vinyana, nama, rupa, salayatana, phasa, vedana, jati, upapati, bhava, and jara, marana. So they are the result, the round of resultant, right? Consciousness, mind and matter, six sense basis, contact, feeling, birth, becoming, and then old age, sickness, and death. These are the 8 results. Okay, then comes the the 3 periods of time. You already know: past, present, and future, right? Yeah, there's a past, then there's a present. These 2 phases belong to the present. Okay, and then this one is a future. So you see that past only one phase. Okay, like a pizza. Imagine it's a pizza piece. Okay, like a pizza, one round of pizza, and then you cut into one piece. This is a past, belong to the past, and another piece on the left belong to the future, and the rest 2 pieces belong to the present. You see, the present is very long period, right? Existing moment, which means it really matters. Present really matters, because you can become what you want in the future only by doing something in the present moment. What you want to be, it all matters from what you do right now, right? So to speak, you are the result of what you were, right? You are the result of what you were, and you will be the result of what you are right now. Okay. 3 periods, and then 20 mode. Yeah, 20 mode we already studied. Like I told you already, the 20 mode out of these 4 phases, number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, they all have 5, 5, 5, 5. So 5 by 4, 20 modes, right? So you see the 20 mode: ignorance, right? Avijja, sankhara, tanha, upadana, and bhava. Here, you see here. Avijja, sankhara, tanha, upadana, bhava. This is one phase. Is also one of the this is a 5 mode. Okay, 5 past cause continuum, 5 past causal continuum. This is 5 modes. And then we have the 5 present resultant continuum. Another mode, 5 present causal continuum. Another mode, the future resultant continuum. Okay, so let me conclude the session, and then I will give some time for you to, if you have a question. Okay. A little bit fast. Okay, again, let me conclude all the session from the beginning. You see, the book also written just the way I have explained it in short. You know, the chapter 1, we just study the conditioning factor from one to another. And the chapter 2, they study the sections, the link, the factor, and the person that we already learned here, right? Yeah, I just make a summary with the diagram, so you don't even need to read the book. It's all the same things. Yeah, here they make the short phrase like a 2 in root, 2 in the sajja, 4 in the group links, numbering 12 well, 3 full round, and same in number connection, 3 period consisting 12 factor, something like that. Okay, what I want to read here, just to kind of reminder, because this is very important teaching. It's the very it's not basic, actually. It is the essence of the Buddha's teaching, right? Like the essence of a tree, right? It's very important to understand this teaching. Without understanding correctly with this teaching, you truly not understand Buddhism, so it is very necessary to understand this teaching. When the yogi, like the practitioner of meditation, fully comprehends the tenor of the doctrine of Paṭiccasamuppāda, he will possess the penetrative knowledge of arising and disappearing. See, through understanding this theory, you possess the penetrative knowledge. And I'm gonna put that way, penetrative knowledge of, you understand, you see the arising and passing of the phenomena. Phenomena means Dhamma. Everything arises. It is a Dhamma, right? The Dhamma itself, no being in there. That is when the process of arising of khandhas is comprehended in accordance with the law of causality, which says that annihilationist wrong view can be eliminated. And when the process of passing away of old khandha and arising of new ones is fully comprehended in accordance with the law of causality, the sasatta tithi, externalist wrong view, can be eliminated. You see, this is very important to remove our tithi, our wrong views. We have the wrong view about self, about our existence. We believe that it is eternal. We believe that it is annihilist, So that's why studying this Paṭiccasamuppāda, you see the nature of phenomena. It arises and it passes by itself, nothing else, no being in there. So we cannot claim that it lasts, it is everlasting. No, That's why you can get rid of your wrong view of sasatta tithi, externalist. You believe that something stays still, something lasts forever, no dying soul. Everything is a permanent, right? Permanent soul, something like that. Or you think that it is annihilist. After we die, everything's just come to zero, vanishes, no result, no karma. Don't believe in that, something like that, When the yogi fully comprehends and is cognizant of the phenomenon of the arising and perishing, which is nothing but the process of the cause and effect, in which there is neither being, man, women, nor self, he can be said to be free from the shrouded veil of atta or sakkaya tithi, egoism, for a time, tathagata, panyaha. Tadanga bahana, the Tanga bahana, which means when you comprehend the knowledge of the theory of Paṭiccasamuppāda, you just have a very insightful knowledge of the nature of the universe, that it's just the arising and passing, arising and passing. These two words sounds very simple, but it really very fundamental in going through liberation. When you understand these two terms through your practice, and then you will see the importance of the term itself. So it can remove the sakkaya tithi about self, right? It's the tanga pahana. And then paccaya parikkaha jnana, you can achieve this type of knowledge, vipassana knowledge, knowledge of causal law can be gained when he comprehends the process of arising and perishing as the result of the causal law. Having full comprehended and being cognizant of dependent, or because of avijja and tanha and saṃsāra that come into being, pañcakhandha, see, 5 aggregates of component, the yogi can dispel the wrong view of Isara Nimana tithi, akiriya tithi, and hetuka tithi. You see, Isara Nimana tithi, wrong view of the universe is created by supreme being. Akiriya tithi, wrong view that the meritorious deeds and the demeritorious deed, which means bad and good deed that we have done, will bring about neither merit nor demerit. Akiriya tithi មានន័យថាមិនជឿថាបនបាបឲ្យផលណាកិរិយាទិដ្ឋិ and hitaka tithi, wrong view that there is no cause to earn effect, right វាមានន័យថាផលទាំងអស់វាគ្មានហេតុណា 4. Right understanding of the doctrine of Paṭiccasamuppāda will enable us to realize the khanthas are nothing, right? Khandha are nothing but a cumulative aggregation of the ceaseless process of the arising and perishing of physical and mental phenomena, rupa, vedana, sanya, sankhara, vijnana, which mean materiality, feeling, perception, mental formation, and consciousness, right? Ultimately, you may attain penetrative insight that after all, Paṭiccasamuppāda is no other than the great mass of sorrow and suffering, right? When it had the cycle of suffering, when the 4 above points are fully comprehended by the yogi of the Tathāgata temporarily, he will be free from the danger of falling into the apayagati, woeful existence, suffering world. Candidate yogi advice, because this book is written for the practitioner, okay, for the meditators. That's why you can spend time to read this book again and again, because it is the techniques of practicing vipassana to gain liberation from suffering. So you must read it. Candidate of yogis advise that this doctrine should be fully understood before they enter into actual meditation, so that they may reap the benefit of the first noble, second, and the fourth noble stages according to their sattha, confidence of faith, panya, and viriya. See, this end of the chapter 2. And chapter 3, they only say about the aspect, conditioning factor here and there, identifying there is no self, no being, because everything arises and passes, nothing stays forever. So there is no permanent soul, there is no permanent self, right? It is anatta. That is called the three universal existence, or the 3 marks of existence that we have learned last week from American monk, right? Anicca, dukkha, anatta. So they all related, interconnected theory with this teaching. So I just ended up here with our diagram again. This is like an overview and summary. I'm sorry, it takes a little bit of the time. Please bear with me just a moment. I will conclude this, because we're not going to study this again next week. Next week we will study the first sermon, because of the welcoming of Asalha Puja. Asalha Puja will be on the 15th full moon day of Asalha month, which means it is on August 1st. Okay, the 1st of August, just one day before the monks entering Vasa, right, the rain retreat. So we have to welcome and pay respect to this celebration. We remind of the 5 main events that happened in the time of the Buddha. So the Asalha Puja, right? I will talk later on that day. Next week we will study with another professor from Cambodia. Okay, so make it in short. We have studied for, I think, for the last 3 weeks about the theory of Paṭiccasamuppāda. It is the theory of the will of Saṃsāra, or the cycle of life, that we come into being again and again, endlessly, round and round in this Saṃsāra, in this universe. It's like comparing to a wheel of the car. It keeps moving around and round, that we cannot identify where's the beginning and where's the end, because we are being blinded by avijja and tanha, right? Ignorance and craving that blinds us from seeing the truth. When we are not seeing the truth, so we don't live life the way based on the truth. That is why we experience suffering. We allow all kinds of defilement, impurities, negativities take over our life. So we live a life of suffering, because we don't know what our life is, what is the nature of our very existence, why we come here, what we are doing here, and where are we going, what's the purpose of life. All of this we have not known before, but now hopefully after learning this theory, you know why you come here, what bring you here, right? From the past cause that bring you here. And then you get what you are, or you are what you have from the past, right? You enjoy the experiences from the past cause in the present, and then from the present moment, whatever you do really matters for the future because it will give result. Okay, so just be mindful of that. Live in the present moment with a right mindfulness, contemplating the nature of arising and passes of all phenomena. It's just a continuous series of the phenomena of the Dhamma that arises and passes, nothing else, no being, no man, no I, no you. So we shouldn't get attached to that concept of egoism, selfish idea, my, mine, me, this is mine, you angry this person caused me this and that. There's no more being to put blame onto, right? Even yourself, because this is not you, it's only a combination of mind and matter, right? It's just the theory, sorry, it's just the process of the Dhamma itself. So we shouldn't cling on to the idea of self that can lead to make a lot of mistakes in our daily life. You know, if we understand this theory, for sure you will find a way to put an end to all kinds of suffering in life. You just need a bit of effort. You just need mindfulness, right? You just need mindfulness to be mindful constantly of whatever is arising, You observe the nature of whatever is arising in your mind, in your feeling. Then you can break the link of tanha, right? Between the feeling and craving, right? You have to control your mind. You have to find a way, practicing meditation or satipatthana, right? Establishing your mindfulness to be firm in skillful action, in good deed, that you see all beings just ultimate realities, right? Nothing to attach on to, nothing to cling on to, and nothing to hate, to harm to. So this all kinds of the summarized idea that I think we should all keep in mind after learning this theory of Paṭiccasamuppāda. And then okay, finally, don't forget that the two roots are the main guy, right? The big bosses behind all the stuff, right? We are here round and round, just like a drama, right? Just like a drama. The actors acting every kinds of story, sadness or happy stories, but they never know who are behind all this, behind the scene, who are behind the scene. So when we study this theory, we see the big boss, the producer behind the stage, right? Behind the scene, these two guys that produces everything, that make us do all the thing, bad or good, act as a bad guy or good guy, act as crying or smiling or laughing. Whatever we do, which is like a drama, life drama. So we are playing around like a child, right? Like a child, sometimes we cry, sometimes we laugh, sometimes we love, sometimes we hate. So all kinds of bad things happening in our life again and again, endlessly, simply because we don't understand the true nature of our existence. That's why we keep moving around and around, experiencing all kinds of problems in our life. So let's put an end to this by removing the root cause, avijja. To remove ignorance, we have to develop wisdom. Okay, to remove tanha, we have to remove the feeling, which means we have to find a way to put it under control, and then we can break this link for sure one day. Okay, we just need to keep trying, practicing day and night. This is a matter of effort, because liberation doesn't happen simply because we pray for it, simply because we ask for from the God or anybody. Liberation, all achievement must start from your own cause, right? You must plant your own seed, so you will get your own fruit. Don't always depend on other asking the fruit from other, right? You have to plant the seed by yourself. So the seed is the cause of the present. Whatever you do really matters because it gives the future result. Okay, you cannot change the past. You cannot do what is happening right now. I mean, as a from previous is a previous resultant. So we cannot make a change to it. But for sure, we can make a change to the present right now, especially the cause. If you don't start the cause, for sure, there will be no result, right? But if you start the cause, start it good, start it with good result, start it with good cause, plant a good seed, plant a sweet seed, so you will get a sweet fruit. Sweet here means good deed, right? Skillful action, meritorious action. You have to plant it, and then you get the meritful future, right? Meritful result. That is the end of the Paṭiccasamuppāda theory. If you have any question, please feel free. We have a few more minutes. You understand, everyone? Can you catch up with what I've been sharing? It is indeed a very, very deep, very subtle teaching. If we don't contemplate on it, if we don't practice on it, simply just reading, it's not easy to catch up with the idea, you know. That's why it only be found by the enlightened one. If there is no enlightened one to show us the way, for sure we won't understand this law of the universe. You know, this teaching is very insightful. Any questions? Okay, anyone? Is there any thought, any idea that comes to mind? You can share a little bit concerning about this Paṭiccasamuppāda. So if you don't have questions, just share your idea, share your thought after learning this teaching. Anyone can talk. You can raise your hand or you can just turn on the mic. Okay, feel free to do so. Hello, everyone.
I think all the students understand well today, but they didn't want to talk in the class. So let me the first questioner. I want to ask for clarifying the word mood. What does it mean in Evan Pali or
Akara.
English or Khmer?
Akara.
Oh.
Akara.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we have this. Okay, where's the 12? I think this one.
20 mood.
20 mode na akara in Pali from Baidot. Akara. Where's that one? Khmer diagram. I have posted. Which one? Oh, here, yeah. I have put in Khmer word Pali. Root nó ngừng mùl, Sacha, Saṃsāra, division, Angkya, factor, Santi, connection, Vada, round, Kala, and Akara, 20 mode. Akara. I'm a pay, yeah, all this 20 is Akara, 20 modes, 5 by 4. So we get 20. Okay, any other questions? Okay, if not, we end this teaching today, and hopefully you can do more research by yourself, because this is a very important teaching. Okay, and it needs to study a lot more detail because we don't have much time. As a short course, we don't just, you know, take it easy on time. We have to rush to the other teachings as well. to catch up with the time we have. So hopefully everyone can have more understanding about this teaching and do more research by yourself in the future. So let's end our class today by sharing merit with all beings in the whole universe to be happy, to be well, and to be liberated. Tokkapata jane tokka payapata jane paya sokapata jane soka hontu sape pipanino anumodana. Okay, everyone, goodbye, good morning and good night.